and welcome to Conversations for Connection. Uh, I would like to apologize for this long delay. We've had some significant technical issues despite having been prepared and ready and excited for this episode. So my apologies and thank you so much for being part of us. And I think now we have, of course, we have Fundiswa Yuba, and Fundiswa is not able to join us tonight. I've always loved friendships. I've thought, even during this COVID-19 pandemic, one thing that maybe was a blessing for other people was to have friends. And friendship is a universal human experience, and we're all wired for connection. And when we talk about friendship, we talk about those relationships that add value and support to each other. And we've had many songs in the secular world, like That's What Friends Are For, Lean On Me. There's been movies, there's been reality shows, there's been a lot of just content on friendship for ages, and it transcends all social constraints, be it social class, age, background, religion. So tonight we want to hear about how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected us. As a humanity, we've suffered a great loss. We've lost so many lives, and we've lost our loved ones. All of us have been touched in one way or another and affected by COVID-19 pandemic. We want to hear your stories. Most importantly, thank you for waiting in audience. Please join us in. Please call in if you can, so that we can make this as fun as possible. Fundiswa Yuba is our guest tonight. She's an HR professional working in reinsurance who also manages a page for women on emotional healing. The handle for that is at mercy _FYI. She grew up in Port Elizabeth and now lives in Cape Town with her husband and 2-year-old daughter. When it comes to friendships, Fundiswa is figuring herself and things out. So she's looking forward to learning through the Conversations for Connection discussion. And as I said, we regret to inform you that Fundiswa is not feeling well, and he's not able to join us, even though he would like to be here. And he sends his apologies for that, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Hi, Fundi.
Hi, Bunzi Unjani.
How are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. And thank you so much for being part of this discussion. And I would like you to just take us into what friendship means to you and what it meant and what you've seen during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Hamzi, can you hear me now?
We can hear you clearly and we can see you.
Perfect. My apologies, everyone. Mm-hmm. Clearly, the gremlins do not want us to have this conversation. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and thank you for your patience. Z, you asked me a very weighty question. And I think for me, when it comes to friendships, I'm going to be very cheesy and stereotypical. There's a beautiful song that Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans did together a few years back, a long time ago, and it was called Count on Me, through thick and thin.
Yes.
And for me, that's what friendship is. It's about having someone that does life with you in the good, in the bad. They are there to celebrate with you. They are there to cry with you. It is almost someone who becomes an extension of your family. And so for me, that's the foundation I have for friendship. I have been someone who's been very good at categorizing people in my life. So I've got my friends, I've got acquaintances. So I'm friendly with all of these people, but there's a certain level of intimacy that differs based on the type of relationship that we have. And then I think through COVID, those relationships have then been challenged.
And is it something that challenged in, when you say challenge, I start to think about maybe difficult things. Do you have any specific things that you experienced during this COVID pandemic? And, I want to also just emphasize that there is no right or wrong, because our experiences are our experiences, and we are here to learn and not make anyone feel bad. So any specific things that you saw in your relationships?
Yeah, so I think the first thing was, I think for the last 18 months, as a family, we've just gone through things. Earlier this year, we lost my father-in-law, and that had an impact on our family. Last year, I was consulting, and that went well for most of the year. But towards the end of the year, the work dried up, which meant financially our resources were impacted. So there's a pandemic happening, and in and around all of that, we are going through certain things. And I think through that then, I had a lot of time to sort of reflect and weigh up which relationships do I have the energy to continue to sustain. And by energy, I mean, I think sometimes when you're going through a lot, depending on how you process and deal with those emotions as a person, you find that you might not have energy to deal with a lot of things because your mind is preoccupied by what you are going through, by what you are experiencing. And so you sort of filter where you can expend your energy in that time and in that season. So I would say that's where my challenges came in.
Talking about choosing and all that, there's been a lot about being intentional about relationships during this pandemic. Did you notice that you had to sit back and be truly intentional, or sometimes you just didn't have energy to even, be intentional about certain relationships?
So I think I'm a strange character. I've got a lot of old good friends. And so I think sometimes those types of relationships make you lazy because you guys know each other. A lot of the people that I consider to be friends are people that I've known for years, some 20, some 25 years. So I think sometimes the pandemic actually forced me to check in more regularly than I ordinarily would have. Sometimes we talk maybe with certain friends on birthdays. If there's big things happening, we check in and we connect. But I think because of the pandemic, I found myself engaging more with those people that I really love and care about, and just wanting to find out, are they okay? How are they doing with their families? And also grieving together. Because we were losing people that we knew, people who are a part of our childhood. And we probably weren't in a position to be able to go and mourn and go through the rituals that we go through as people. As part of our mourning process, during preparation for this, I asked a friend, and her feedback was around, we would be able to go to someone's home, go peel vegetables, go help cook. We had different ways of showing our love and support. Whereas now, maybe you send a voice note, maybe you call.
Awareness, I would call it self-awareness. And maybe this might help us even when this pandemic ends, if it's ever gonna end, or becomes endemic, maybe to take off where we left off in terms of this pandemic was so hard, and I think my intention, again, as I was saying, is all the things that we were used to, we've lost them. Do you think we'll be able to pick up and carry on, or we are going to have difficult conversations about, like, Fundi, what happened? Why were you not there? And I was going through a hard time.
Yo. Oh, yeah. See, I think as a people group, we've got a choice to make first and foremost in terms of how we are going to view COVID. And I'm going to say this, and I'm saying this fully aware that a lot of people have lost loved ones, a lot of people have lost financial resources, a lot of people have sunk into deep depression in this period. So I'm saying what I'm about to say with that in mind. I think COVID has forced us to learn what is important in our lives. It's forced us to remember. So I think my perspective is it has made us more human. And what do I mean by that? Sometimes I could be at work and my mom is calling me and I'm like, I'll get back to her at the end of the day. Like, I'm busy. Whereas now, if there's calls, I'm more likely to pick up. In my friendship circle with my childhood friends, they know me. I'm the person you don't call when there's an emergency, because I'm not gonna pick up the call. But I've tried to be better. If I've missed the call, let me make sure that I call again. I think there is a greater awareness of human suffering that has come through the pandemic. When you hear that someone has lost a loved one, it hits you. You might not have had the loss, but it hits you because there's just been so much death around us that I think all of us collectively need to mourn. So I think there's been a lot of bad things that have come out of the pandemic, but I think we can also choose to look at the good that has come out of the pandemic, in that we know what is important. If we weren't clear on what we valued in our lives, I am sure by now, 18 months into it, you know what matters. If you were like me, busy trying to get through all the meetings that you can get through, but you realize, you know what, it's important that I speak to my mom. It's important that I make time for family. It's important that I make time for friends. It's important for me to be present in the things that I am doing, so that I'm enjoying having this conversation with Umzi.
Yeah.